becoming a field inspector may be the best side hustle that you've never heard of. So today I'm going to break down what it is, what you need to get started, and some of the top companies hiring right now. Let's get into it. What exactly is a field inspector? So a field inspector is somebody who gets paid to visit properties, take photos, and report back what they see. And you're not repairing anything. You don't need a real estate license. You actually don't need a certification at all. You're basically the eyes and ears for banks, insurance companies, real estate firms, and most jobs take under 30 minutes, and many pay between like $20 and $75 per job. You knock out several in a day, and it can definitely add up quickly. Now, there are a number of different types of field inspections that you can actually do, but I'll just go over a handful of the ones that are out there. So you can do mortgage inspections, so that's like checking if a property is occupied or abandoned. You can do insurance inspections, which are like taking pictures of houses or even cars after things like storms or hail to be able to show the damage that's been done. There's even commercial or equipment inspections, which is like verifying the type of equipment that exists at a business or even verifying that a certain amount of inventory actually exists. Another super popular one is property condition reports. So these you'll do for like landlords and banks before and after somebody's tenancy to make sure that it's actually in condition that they say it is. Now there's a ton of other types of inspections that you can do, but the general theme of all of them is you'll go to the location, you'll snap a photo, you'll submit the report, and then you just move on to the next job. It really is as simple as that. Now there's one thing to note that field inspections and property inspections are different. So field inspections in a way are a type of property inspection, and it's usually around verifying the condition of something, verifying the condition of, a house or a car or whatever the case may be for insurance related reasons. Property inspections are like the same thing you get when you buy a house and you have somebody come out and check the electrical and the HVAC and the roof to show the condition, the foundation, and that often requires specialized skills and actual licensing. As a field inspector, you do not need a certification, you do not need a license, although you often do need a background check. Now, when it comes to field inspections, the name of the game really is signing up for as many companies as you see fit, because what you'll find is that not every company is going to be super busy in every area. And sometimes you may get a day where you get 40 different requests for you to go out and do a job, and you may get a day where you get nothing. And so the more different companies that you can essentially contract with, the better your odds of having more consistent work. Now, one thing I do suggest, and that I saw suggested a lot, is if you are going to work with a bunch of companies, you may want to get some sort of routing app. So you can use an app like Circuit or any other routing app that's out there. Because if you're sent like 20 different locations that you have to go, the last thing you want to do is double back. Like, okay, you went to this part of the town and then you went to this one only to realize you have to go back. This way it'll actually route exactly which way you have to go in the most efficient manner. So you're saving yourself time. So what do you need to get started? So luckily, you need very minimal items in order to actually get started. So the first thing that you need is you need a car or reliable transportation, because this is definitely an on-the-go job. It's not a like sit at your computer desk type of job. You need a smartphone with a decent camera, because you will be taking a lot of pictures of things like cars, license plates, VINs, street signs, houses, you name it. So you want to make sure that you have a phone that is great with pictures. Some people suggest getting some sort of like monopole or selfie stick, because you may have to take pictures of something like, a roof or a second story of a building. And obviously you don't want to be climbing on the roof, and you may not be able to reach high enough to get a good picture. So it may be nice to have some sort of stick for you to be able to put your phone up there and get better pictures. Another thing is you'll want access to a printer, because depending on the type of inspections you do, sometimes you have to print out a letter and give it to a tenant or whoever's occupying the building at the time. And so you want to make sure that you at least have access to a printer. If you don't have one at home, then a FedEx or Kinko's or something that's nearby. A lot of times they'll ask for basic background checks. Not all companies require it, but a lot of them do. And some may even require errors and emissions insurance, but definitely not all of them. Now we have to talk about what the top companies are out there. There is a lot of field inspection companies that you can sign up for. And I did my best with making a list for you on a blog on my website, sidehustleseattle.com, that I will link below for you to check out. Because like I said, it is a numbers game a lot of times when it comes to field inspections. But I'm going to give you 5 of the ones that I saw heavily recommended by other people. So let's go ahead and just get into those. Maybe those are the first ones you should check out. So one of the first ones you should check out is SoFi Inspections. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the website. So SoFi Inspections stands for Society of Field Inspectors, and it kind of works like a database. So if you're a notary and you're watching this video, then you're used to like signing databases. It's the same thing. You'll go ahead and you'll sign up for this company, and then your name will be entered into a database where a bunch of other companies can reach out to you for work. And so it's pretty easy. The membership is free. All you have to do is just go to join now. And then once you actually go to join now, you can go ahead and just fill out the information from here. One of the things that I found interesting is all the different boxes that you can check off on the type of services that you're going to be providing. So you can even do notary signing agent services if you are a notary that's watching this video. Otherwise, anything that says no license required, I would go ahead and just apply for those. So all of these different ones, you can go ahead and say that you're willing to offer those services, fill out the rest of what you offer, and then just click submit and you're good to go. From another company you should definitely check out, it's called photoinspections.com. Website right here, and it'll talk about just generally, why you should be a partner, an inspection partner with this company. And they have a pretty cool FAQ as well if you're just looking to get a better understanding of what all goes into it. So it just says like you don't need to purchase any software or anything like that. They'll automatically keep track of your inspections. It's secure. All you need to do is be, a self-starter, disciplined, motivated, et cetera, and you should be able to thrive within this business. And so if you want to go ahead and apply, it's as simple as just clicking the registration button, and then you will just enter in the information that I asked here below, click submit, and that's it. Now, the next company you definitely have to check out is one called IViewIt. And I definitely like this one a lot because I think they have one of the better apps out of all of the different companies. And I think they do a good job with the UI that makes it really easy to interact with them. So when you go on the site, you can go to become a viewer. And all you have to do is download the app to start earning and getting started. So all you have to do is accept a view, snap photos, complete the survey, submit it, and you get paid. Now, what I like is that you get paid within 24 hours of submitting your photos, assuming that they get approved, which I like because some companies have like a net 30 payment, which always sucks. So it's nice that you can earn money quickly on this one. And yes, some of them are, $10, $12, 15, etc. But when you do a lot of those, it's a great way to make some extra income. Now, the next company you have to check out is Spectrum Field Services. Now, my suggestion is to go through in each of these buckets and select which one you think best aligns with the type of work that you're going to be doing because it's going to ask you that when you do the application. So quite frankly, most of you are going to be selecting residential inspections. So if you click on residential inspections, what you'll find that it talks about occupancy verifications, property condition reports, no contact inspections, et cetera, which are all things you can do without any sort of certification or license. So all you have to do is just click join our network. And when you go to fill out the application, it's going to ask you what you want to be a vendor for. And I suggest clicking on residential inspections. Property preservation, I believe there's some aspects of it that don't require a certification, but based on what I saw on the website, it looks like they may require it. So up to you if that's what you want to click as well. But for the majority of people watching this video, you're going to be clicking on residential inspections. And the last company that you should absolutely check out is Velocity Rio. And so they do a number of different types of inspections, real estate, automotive, site inspections, custom ones as well. And all you have to do is just go to join our team right here. And they'll talk about some general information about contractors. They work in 43 different states. And so pretty much all the ones that I mentioned work nationwide. But again, depending on which company you choose, they may be busier in some areas than they are in others. And so it'll just tell you what the ideal candidate is right here and some of the things that you need to know before joining the team. So I definitely suggest just looking over those. But after that, all you really need to do is just go ahead and fill out the form that they have. So it'll tell you that you're required to submit a sample of 7 photographs within 30 hours. So they're really big on making sure that people can snap accurate and proper photos. So before you submit the application, you want to make sure that you have at least 7 photos that you can submit along with it. So that way your application can get approved with no issues. But once you're good to go, just go ahead and start the registration, put your zip code in, and it is as simple as that. I would also check out Craigslist and other field inspection Facebook groups because a lot of times contractors will post gigs on there as well, just to expand the different amount of companies that you can reach out to. And again, I have a full blog post that has 20 plus companies for you to look into if you're interested. Now, let's be real, this side hustle is definitely not going to be for everybody. So let's just quickly talk about the pros and cons. So some of the pros are you get to set your own hours. It's great for people who like to be on the move because you will be driving quite a bit. So keep that in mind. If you don't like driving, this is definitely not the one for you. And the thing that I like is incredibly low barrier to entry. No experience needed, no degree required, no certification. You really just need to be 18 plus with a valid driver's license and be able to pass a background check for a lot of these companies, and you're good to go. So anybody can really take advantage of this side hustle. We just talked about the pros. Let's talk about the cons. So some of the cons are, like I said, there's a lot of driving. So if you're not interested in driving, this is not for you. I would say that some companies pay a little bit slower. Some are net 30. And a lot of people don't want to wait 30 days to get paid for work. So you may want to avoid some of those companies that have that pay delay. And I would just say another thing is sometimes jobs can be inconsistent in your area. So it really just depends on where you live. Obviously, bigger metropolitan areas probably more likely to get work than some of the smaller ones. So that's why I say sign up for as many companies as possible to maximize your chances of getting work. Now, one of the questions that I saw mentioned on the forum a lot was, is it dangerous? Because there are some field inspections that require you to interact with the property owner. So you may have to hand them a letter, you may have to ask questions, you may have to ask if you can go inside, whatever the case may be. Now, keep in mind, you can decline anything you don't want to do. So you don't have to do those things that require you to interact because not all of them do. But sometimes if you are handing somebody a letter, especially if it's not a letter that, I don't know, is the most pleasant, they could be upset. But for the most part, from what I've read, most people don't run into that issue, but occasionally you will get a disgruntled tenant who really is just not trying to see you. So if this is a side hustle that you've done before, go ahead and leave a comment. I'm curious what your experience is, what your favorite companies are, and any tips you would have for newbies looking to start this side hustle. Thank you as always for watching my video. Catch you next one.